Hi, and welcome to the first episode of Hype with Nick and Sam. This is our way of getting out our obsessions with Hollywood and pop culture, as that is our method of escapism in this crazy, super fucked up world. Quick shout out before we start to Jacob Blake, Breonna Taylor, and George Floyd and the entire Black Lives Matter movement. We stand with you, and we hope that the next 30 minutes can be a way for you to forget about the troubles of the world. And then get right back to protesting and signing petitions and sticking it to the fucking man. I'll let Nick introduce himself first, and then I'll come in afterwards. What's up, Nick?
Absolutely. What's going on, dude? Nick here, ready to get down into some of the things that we personally love and we talk about nonstop every goddamn day, and I'm ready to get some other people hyped up about them.
Right.
Like, exactly, honestly,
yeah.
It's been a long time coming, bro. Like we were saying last night before we were setting all this up, we're like, this has literally been, in the works, not formally, but like this has been something that we've probably should have been doing years ago. And just
a 6-year-long friendship that has been one ongoing conversation through either text or Google chat or like some type of way of communicating every single day for the past 6 years about movies, Hollywood, pop culture. Like we do not stop. It's not even a joke.
No, and it's so many random it's these random obsessive things that we obsess over that it's just sometimes like when we're done talking about it, it never even registers with me like holy shit, that was a tangent about some random actor. Like, you know what? It never registers as weird to me. It always, I don't know. It's always been something that I've just loved talking about this kind of shit, and you're the only other person so far who I can get this hyped up about on like an actor and his career.
Yeah.
And
so it's like go into like a deep dive. Like I can't just watch one movie of an actor. I go on every single time. Both of us. It's like a deep dive into the career of this particular person, director, acting, producing even. Like we get like so into the nitty-gritty details that we start watching like absurd YouTube channels.
Exactly. It leads on to other obsessions like so super easily. It's like, oh, I watched the Lighthouse. Like, oh, dope. I'm gonna go ahead and watch all the interviews with director Robert Eggers and Robert Pattinson and just watch all of them here and learn about all the weird shit that went on throughout the production of that movie. Am I gonna check out some of Eggers' other films? Most likely, yes. Have I? Absolutely.
So just to introduce myself as well real quick, I'm Sam Perkle. I'm a media major at Northern Illinois University, and I've been obsessed with movies since I can remember. Music, movies, TV shows, pretty much all of it. Finally found my co-star in that, Nick Hermes, and so today we are like literally about to just give you guys a glimpse into our like constant conversation that we're already in.
And it really kind of sparked our current conversation has been Robert Pattinson. Straight up, and it's been Robert Pattinson for probably the past week. Because as everyone and their freaking mothers know, the new Batman trailer comes out.
Which dude is just so good. I literally watched it like 4 or 5 times in a row.
Oh my
Batman
God.
trailer is so good that I literally like it better than Dawn of Justice and Justice League put together.
Which is saying so much because unlike a lot of the world, we love those movies too. And it's like I think something is to be said there about how we can find things that the majority of the world is saying they didn't like. But how we can take an aspect of that or aspects of that and say, okay, I recognize that, but this is still really, really dope in that movie. Like, and you can't deny it.
Yeah, prime examples being Ben Affleck's Batman and Jared Leto's Joker, which was like honestly, like I did not expect to be like the only person in my social circle to enjoy both those actors, but I am. Like people literally get so mad at me when I say that, and I'm like. I'm like, dude, it's a different take on the character. I don't know.
Right.
Do you want to watch the same movie again? Because, like, it's different this time. Like, I understand that maybe you don't like it, but at least it's different this time.
Why
it's so bad. Poor Jared Leto. he's not our topic today, so we won't really get into him. But Jared Leto, quick
Right.
shout out to you and your Joker. And
For real though.
sorry that your career as the Joker is most likely over.
Yeah, and everyone hated you as
Right.
the Joker. Sorry, but we didn't. So shout out.
The main thing is Ben Affleck's Batman. Since when did Dawn of Justice come out? Did that come out in 2016?
Must have been. I think I want to say 15.
Were we? Yeah, we were in college together. I believe when that.
No, I think the trailers and stuff came out for it when we were in college, but then I think I graduated.
Right.
Yeah, right before it came out. But
so we were hyped in 2014 about Ben Affleck's Batman to a point where we were like for 45 minutes at a time doing this Batman with an accent, with a heavy, thick Boston accent. Like Superman.
Dude, fuck that guy.
That guy. The Joker? Are you kidding me?
I got a belt. Do I have some fucking tools on my belt? Yeah, I got some fucking tools.
Superpowers? I don't have those. I don't have superpowers. But what I do have, I have a suit made of kryptonite.
I'm the Batman.
I'm the Batman.
Yeah, right there.
That we would do that, and like if you found that annoying, I apologize. So did everyone we went to college with. But we think it's hilarious. So I don't know. But that is the segue into, we already were fans of Robert Pattinson ever since The Lighthouse came out, which Nick, you were way more. You watched that months before I did, and it took convincing to get me.
I boldly called it the best movie I've ever seen, and I still will say that it's right now. That's my favorite movie of all time. Right now, that's my favorite movie, dude. Not even kidding you. Like that. Like I have not enjoyed a movie so much just for like, I don't know. I felt like a film douchebag appreciating everything in the movie that I did, but like I was like the fucking like camera angles, the fucking like the huge spider in my room. Sorry, fuck out of here. All right, yeah, all right.
Cut. Edit that out later, maybe. Maybe not. If we were talking about Spider-Man, it would have worked, but it's bad.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's a good thing I'm not fucking crushing bats in my apartment. That would have been a little bit more of a hang on a second, but
yeah, you'd probably get rabies.
But I'm telling you, dude, like that, like I have not like just and then I mean, without even getting into the unbelievable dialogue in that movie and their absurd dialects.
Dude,
and just,
I watched this last night and I took notes on it, and my second note, probably like 5 minutes in to when I was watching it, was the language of both actors is fucking insane.
It's awesome.
I'm like, how do you guys remember these lines?
Exactly. Like I was reading into it because like I know that Pattinson is kind of doing more of like a northeastern like logger kind of voice. Like I don't know. I forget. He kind of explained it in one of his interviews because like
it's lobster fisherman from New England in the main
yes.
area.
That's what it is.
It's like this English accent that survived in America for like hundreds of years for no reason other than fishermen are out like by themselves for like periods of time and just like talk with each other that way.
Exactly. And just like, I mean, and I mean, our boy Robert Pattinson, I mean, granted, Willem Dafoe should have won some kind of award for that movie. I mean, I think we can, having both seen that now, everyone out there, if you haven't seen it, the Lighthouse,
watch The Lighthouse. If you haven't seen
unbelievable movie.
Watch The Lighthouse. I would say stop this podcast right now and go watch The Lighthouse.
Yeah, but like give yourself some time before you come. And I guess this podcast would be a good way to pick you back up because it is one of those kind of unsettling movies. It's not really so much scary. It's just kind of like.
It reminds me of that one Office episode where Gabe like wants to make that like the sexiest, scariest Halloween party ever.
the film of the unsettling or something like that.
The theater of the absurd or something like that. All these like scenes that make people just like literally cringe like in their skin, like their skin you watch it curl, and on even like watching The Office, I'm like, whoa, like I was not
Yeah.
expecting. I don't want to see
No.
these things.
Yeah.
Um,
That's what it is. And I mean, and then that's just, that's only his most recent, movie that we just happen to have been geeking about before all this, the Batman and, the upcoming movie Tenet, which I'm saying it right now, which I wasn't for the past week, but I am now. Tenet. And
I'm guessing I'm gonna be obsessed with that movie. I think
yeah,
that movie is probably gonna take the cake for me in 2020.
I
I
mean,
don't know yet
Christopher
if I'm gonna go
Nolan.
to a theater and see it or if I'm
Yeah.
gonna try to stream it somehow later, but I really want to see that movie. I really want to see it in the theater, to be honest.
I miss seeing movies in theaters, man.
Well, so
Like,
badly.
man.
That video circling around right now of Tom Cruise going to the movies is pretty funny. I enjoyed
I
that.
hadn't even seen that actually.
It's-
Really, it's just him going to the movie.
It's literally a 2-minute video of Tom Cruise's journey wearing a mask to the movies.
All right, that's awesome.
It's
That's
pretty
awesome. almost as awesome as fucking our boy Robert Pattinson, dude. The video that he made with GQ that I found on YouTube earlier this week about him trying to get a New York City hot dog.
I posted that on my Twitter earlier because I watched it and I was laughing so hard. I was losing my mind.
Think about it, man. I mean, the reason that we can appreciate something like that is because think about where this guy if you asked me, about Robert Pattinson, 6 years ago, 7 years ago, I'd be like, oh, the guy from Twilight, because that's who he was. I mean, I hate to admit it, but like that's kind of all I knew him from. I knew him from Twilight.
That would suck as a person to be known as Edward Cullen from Twilight when you were
Exactly.
What was he, like 18 to 25 or something?
Something like that. Yeah.
And now he's like he's you wanted to be an actor from the beginning. You get offered a franchise like that, and then you get put in this box. And so ever since then, he's been fighting to get out of this box. And so instead of doing it gradually, he was just like, well, I'm just going to get weird right away. Like I'm going to take some time. Well, he said that he went from at the beginning of 2019, he did not have a job. And then now in 2020, he is in almost like every cool movie I look up, like The Lost City of Z. He's got a part in. I'm planning on watching that still with Charlie Hunnam, Tom Holland, like these A-listers right now. And I think this Batman movie is really going to bring him into the spotlight. What I'm hoping for, though, is that he once again doesn't get put into the box as like the Batman now, because I want to see him in more weird stuff.
Right, and he likes being in those weird movies. Like apparently, I was watching a interview with Robert Eggers and Pattinson and Defoe, and Robert Eggers, the director of the Lighthouse, he said that he originally pitched Pattinson on something else. It was like some sort of like medieval period piece, and he said no because Pattinson, quote unquote, wanted to do something a little bit more challenging. So then he brought him the script for the Lighthouse, and he was like, okay, that's gonna be a challenge.
I feel like people are like 50-50 on having seen The Lighthouse. I feel like everyone knows that it's supposed to be a really good movie. A lot of people are scared of watching it, which honestly you should be, because it's gonna make you very uncomfortable, but it's also very funny. Like he's very funny. Like at the end of that huge lobster monologue, I was watching it last night, started cracking up when at the end of this whole monologue, Robert Pattinson like looks up at Defoe. Defoe's been talking for probably 5 minutes straight about like sending this guy to basically hell, and he goes, fine.
Yeah. Fucking awesome.
It's so cool. It's so funny. It's so well written.
Farts throughout the entire movie. Like what? I was like, okay. Well, I was gonna say before, but no. If you had something on this topic, finish it, because I was actually gonna compare Pattinson to somebody else.
Well, hold that, because Pattinson said in another interview that so there was not a lot to do on this island they were at in I believe Nova Scotia. I could be wrong on that, but I believe it's Nova Scotia.
Sounds right.
That he had there's so little to do, but there was 2 local sex shops, And he didn't go to those local sex shops. Instead, he would go on his phone and read the Yelp reviews for those sex shops. And like that's what he would do to pass the time, is just read the reviews of these sex shops in Nova Scotia.
Like, what a weirdo.
I know, man.
I love it though. I don't know. I love it.
I like this guy because he looks like a pretty boy, but he's odd. If you watch that hot dog video, that really gives you a good glimpse of what's going on in his head, because it's him losing his mind in a New York City apartment about getting a hot dog. It's like
literally
a version of the Lighthouse about a hot dog.
Yes, like it's like him narrating his own thoughts as he's moving through the city to try and get a hot dog. Like, fucking unbelievable. Like, absolutely. And it's, I don't know. It's just I love, like you said, you know, him being like this like pretty boy actor from Twilight, and being able to just jump right into this weird world of film that we can obsess over. Like, that's what makes it, all this shit so amazing. Like, I was kind of how we were talking about Pattinson earlier, about how, you know, we loved how he, you know, is kind of, you know, came from that pretty boy Twilight role, you know, and now he's doing this weird shit. Like, one of our early obsessions was Efron, Zac Efron, right? Like, we were like, I mean, and I still think that the stuff he's been in recently, it's like, I finally watched the new Baywatch like 2 nights ago, and he was cracking my ass up. Like, he was actually super funny in that movie. I mean,
so too. Yet that movie surrounded by hate, which
exactly.
I enjoyed it. I don't know. I thought it was funny. Once again, I understand the hate around it. The plot wasn't great. However, the one-liners and, you know, the comedic acting by Efron, which, you know, we saw like a little bit of in Neighbors, which he also.
I was gonna say.
It's really funny to like see like these guys grow up kind of with us, like, you know, because
exactly.
It's a good movie. If you watch High School Musical like as a sixth grade or whatever, I'm personally out here saying I watched it. I enjoyed those movies.
When they said when they announced the Netflix Bundy movie that he was going to be starring as Ted Bundy, everyone was like, "Yo, that's the guy from high school. Like, why is he playing Ted Bundy?" I'm like, "Well, A, he fucking looks like him, and B,
really weird.
Really weird. I mean, he fucking killed it. Like, he did a really good job in that movie, I thought."
And so you got this Twilight guy, you got this High School Musical guy, both trying to like come out and just break out of those things. It's almost like it's like kind of bad to get into a franchise or series when you're younger, because people then just identify you as those parts. Which,
but again, at the time, you're not going to say no.
You're not going to say no. You're not,
because of the implication.
You're on a boat. It's because that's a good, yeah.
I got track there. So I've been watching hours and hours of It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. So
a reference
all those points are fresh on my mind.
Sorry, I got Phallus. I mean Phyllis. Sorry, I got
Phallus. Got a penis on the brain.
Right. So overall, I would say that I think I'm going to come out here and say this like publicly. I think that the new upcoming Batman movie is going to be the best that's been released either since The Dark Knight or possibly surpassing The Dark Knight. Based on just the trailer, but I mean the tone.
It looks gritty, man.
So dark. It looks so dark, and I'm here for it. I hope it's rated R. I hope that, you know, like Batman doesn't kill people, but he does like break the shit out of their bones and like ruins
and like
faces. The punching scene where he like beats up that goon and he's just boom, boom,
yeah,
boom. I was like,
okay, yeah. And I mean, yeah, he's Batman, but like what percentage of those movies? Like, what percentage of those movies like are they also Bruce Wayne? Like, people have to like remember that he's not just playing Batman, he's the new Bruce Wayne, which is awesome. Like, I think it's an awesome, like, I think you compared it to like an almost like Batman Beyond type vibe.
It does.
I'm like, I get that.
I like the where I get that is like all the red that I'm seeing in like the the
Mm-hmm.
tones of like the trailer and everything. If it is anything like Batman Beyond, because I know that DC is also doing this thing. The new Flash movie has Ben Affleck and Michael Keaton reprising their roles as the Batman, like in it. And so, what I personally think is going to happen is we're going to get a Flashpoint situation where you bring all the Batman in. It gives Ben Affleck now an out almost, but also a way to come back when he's older. And then, so that's where I'm getting these Batman Beyond vibes, because I know for a fact that in the Flash movie, we're gonna have the older Batman.
Right, and I mean, Affleck in that Batman, he was already playing sort of an older looking Bruce Wayne. Like he was kind of like grayed a little bit in his hair and shit. I was like, okay, I dig this. It's cool.
I dig it. I do wish. I think if Ben Affleck in like the days of just when he was younger, I think that he would have been a great Bruce Wayne. Like overall, they didn't include Bruce Wayne in his storyline much. Like there's like maybe a scene or two where he's Bruce Wayne, and
there's some pretty, but there's a pretty good like that. The intro scene of that movie with like the total with like what is it, the Wayne, I forget how that movie begins. I just know it begins with him running through like this really dope shot of like, I don't know, I forget what it was like in the wake of an explosion of some kind. It was the open to Dawn of Justice. I just remember, and it's him like running through this fucking like there's like shit, there's like debris falling down and shit, and it's just him running through and then opening up his fucking shirt. And I don't know. I just thought it was a pretty cool shot intro as he was Bruce Wayne. But you're right, there wasn't a ton of Bruce Wayne in that movie.
Where it looks like Pattinson, we see him a little bit more like without the cape and cowl on, because it looks like a bit more of a detective.
Yes, exactly, which I'm down for, dude. Like,
side note, Snyder Cut coming out next year with the Justice League. I'm really looking forward to that and hoping that it surpasses the one that we got theatrically released 2 years ago by like probably a ton. I really need that movie to be better.
Yeah, I mean, and granted, I enjoy that movie when I first saw it? Absolutely. But
where I lose it. Yeah,
and it's like, and now it's like now that the cut's coming out, the cut that everyone knew was like a thing before that movie even came out. Like, so basically, people already knew they were getting a lesser version of what they were originally getting with that movie. So I get it.
Exactly. So I think now is like a really good time for us to just get on some horror stuff, or just like what is going to be upcoming in this podcast. We're really into horror movies overall. We're obsessed with the Evil Dead series. We're obsessed with the Scream series. We're obsessed with Halloween, Texas Chainsaw, all the above.
All the OGs, Nightmare on Elm Street, all I could definitely see one of our combos going in the Nightmare on Elm Street direction one of these days, because there's too much to talk about.
I'm going to do it right now, but Dream Warriors is supposed to be one of the best ones of that series. I didn't like it as much. I was expecting way more out of it, but we can get into that.
We'll get into that. But it's just like dude, these small obsessions that just like, I mean, when it came to, I first kind of like discovered it when, with like, I knew I was into it with, movies and horror and shit. And like, I knew that like I was in a minority in being like a big horror, like horror movies being my main go-tos. But I really noticed it with music. And it was like, once I got into like hip hop and stuff, and, I would find myself, someone would tell me about a mixtape by somebody that I would go and download. I would listen to it, download it, and I would listen to everything else they've ever made, put all that on my computer, and it was almost like I was like collecting music, and it was awesome. Like,
and I was to you last week. I was just trying to watch the first Alien movie because I hadn't seen it in forever. I got to the first 5 minutes of the first Alien movie, and then in that 5 minutes decided that I was going to commit the rest of my weekend to watching the other 6 movies, and like I don't remember that, but that's what I want to do.
Who the fuck does that?
Like I see just a little bit of something, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I want to experience the entirety of what this thing has to offer, like right now.
watched this happen. This happened for you in real time with horror as a genre.
Yes, Nick introduced me. I was terrified. I used to get nightmares of horror movies, and I was really scared of getting into them. Nick showed me the way. He showed me Evil Dead, and ever since Evil Dead, I have been a horror head. I've gotten into Stephen King. I've read all of his, so many of his books. Because once that portal opened up for me, I just need to experience the entirety of what that genre has to offer, because there's so
it's what have I been missing out on? You know what I mean? It's
subgenres of horror are amazing. We were talking about Jordan Peele earlier. He has really opened up a lot of things. The new Lovecraft Country, I know it's not directed by him. It's directed by a woman, and let me see really quick, because I want to give her credit, because the direction or the storytelling has just been incredible in that show. That's one guy's. That's a HBO show, right? Yeah, HBO. Laura Carpin and Raphael Sadiq are the music actually in that, and then Jordan Peele and J.J. Abrams are the producers. And so I don't know who is the showrunner, but it is so good. If you have time, the first 2 episodes are out right now on HBO. Definitely check out Lovecraft Country. It's a blend of historical fiction and horror, and it shows the parallels between racism now and racism just during the Jim Crow laws. But then it also throws in, these gigantic monsters with eyes.
Right. If you're into that stuff, and you're also into fucking horrifying giant monsters that with 100 different eyes that rip people's arms off, then yeah, that show's for you.
I personally love seeing racists get hurt. I don't.
Oh, it's the best.
Fictionally. I won't say this on a recording. Fictionally, I'll stick with it.
Yeah. I love seeing racists get fucking killed.
I love seeing racists just get destroyed by But I think that's all I've got. Do you have anything else, Nick?
Dude, I don't know about you, but I'm excited. This has been awesome, being able to just finally just hopefully get other people obsessing over the same things that we are. Because guys, this shit is so cool, and we don't want any kind of oh, that's the guy from Twilight, or oh, that's the guy from this, or that, or about any of these topics. We don't want any of those comments to deter you from thinking something's cool. If you think something's dope, it probably is, and we're probably gonna do a podcast on it.
Right. And we won't just focus on horror. We're obsessed with it changes every week. It changes every week what we're obsessed with. We're going to touch on some music eventually. We're going to do some pop culture stuff. If you guys like the podcast, please, write to us in our DMs or share it, put it around.
Yeah.
And this has been Hype with Nick.
Let us know. Yes, sir.
Good one. Good talking to you, Nick.
Peace, mate.